"Where are the humans?" Threx demanded. "They are here," the voice said. "But not how you think." He entered a tall building, an old library. Books lay scattered everywhere. Human stories, human knowledge. He picked up a book called Children of the Stars. Inside was a picture, humans shaking hands with aliens. A dream, a hope. But Earth had no peace now. Only secrets. As he climbed the stairs, he saw more statues. Not just Viraxians. Other species. Aliens from across the galaxy. All frozen in fear. Dozens, hundreds. All turned to stone. Some screamed. Some cried. All dead. On the top floor, he found a strange machine. Old, rusty, human-made. But it was still glowing. He touched it. A blue light wrapped around his hand. A voice spoke, human, female, calm. "Hello, visitor. This is Project Echo. You're standing on a dead planet, but Earth is not gone. We are memory. We are defense. We are warning." Threx stared at the machine. "Where are the humans?" The voice answered, "We died, but we remained." He stepped back. "That's not possible." Our minds were uploaded into the land, into the water, into the wind. We do not forget. We do not forgive. Suddenly, the walls shook. The floor cracked. The air turned cold. The light from the machine turned red. "Your time is up." Threx ran down the stairs. Statues were crumbling. Dust filled the air. He burst onto the street. The city was changing. Buildings twisted. Roads rose like waves. And from the ground, something rose. A giant face. Made of earth. Eyes like rivers. Mouth like thunder. It spoke with 1,000 voices. "You were warned. We do not want war, but we became war." Threx dropped his weapon. He fell to his knees. "Please, I just wanted to understand." The voice grew softer. "Then listen." The air filled with visions. He saw the past. Earth, before the wars. Humans building, growing, dreaming. Then the attacks. First the Zarnak, then the Velar, then the Viraxians. Cities burned, oceans poisoned, skies blackened. Millions died. And then humans disappeared. But they didn't leave. They became something new. A mind, a force, a guardian. Not one person, not one army. A planet, alive. Earth itself became the weapon. The voice whispered one final time. "We gave kindness. You gave fire. Now we give warning. Leave, or be claimed." Threx stood slowly. His eyes filled with tears. He spoke into his wrist calm. "This is Commander Threx. I have the truth." Zorthal's voice replied, "Speak." Threx looked up at the sky. The planet is not defenseless. The humans are not gone. Earth is not a target. He paused. "It's a graveyard, a guardian, and a trap." He entered his ship. As he rose into the sky, the city below faded into mist. The last thing he saw was the girl in the red jacket. She smiled, then vanished. Back on the fleet, Threx stepped out of his ship. Everyone was silent. He faced Zorthal. "You attack Earth. You disappear." Zorthal narrowed his eyes. "Why?" Threx looked out the window toward the spinning blue planet. "Because Earth remembers. Winds like knives, snow like acid." The ship spun. They tried to escape, but the ice cracked below. From it came light, blinding white. The pilot whispered, "We're not alone. The ice is watching us." Then nothing. Only one ship made it back to orbit, Virax's own. He looked at his surviving crew. What did we just witness? His tech officer was crying. Viraxians were not built to cry. She said, Earth is not a planet anymore. It's a weapon. Virax nodded slowly. It learns. It adapts. It remembers every attack. Suddenly, their ship was pulled toward Earth. No gravity well, no beam, no tractor. Just a feeling. Like the planet wanted them. Virax screamed. Full thrust. Get us out. The engines roared. The ship shook. It was barely enough. They escaped orbit, but not untouched. Everyone on board heard the same voice. It spoke into their minds. You came to destroy, but we are not afraid. You wanted war. We became the battlefield. You will not return. When they reached the command fleet, only 3 crew members were still alive. The rest had gone silent. Eyes open, no breath, no wounds, just still. Kuller, the young tech who had warned Zorthel, watched as they carried bodies off the ship. Zorthel stared at Virax. What happened? Virax's eyes were shaking. Earth is not what we thought. Zorthel growled, Speak. Virax looked up. Earth is alive. Zorthel laughed. You mean the humans? Virax shook his head. No, not the humans. The planet itself. The land. The water. The sky. Kuller whispered, We didn't find Earth. Earth called us. Zorthel turned. What did you say? Kuller pointed at a signal coming from the planet. It wasn't us who found Earth's signal. Earth sent it to us. To many species, one by one. Why? Zorthel asked. Kuller looked into his eyes. To feed. That night, the stars felt colder. And Earth just kept spinning. Commander Threx had seen death before. He had fought in the Sector Wars, burned cities on ice moons, watched suns collapse. But nothing had prepared him for Earth. He stood inside his small landing craft, shaking. Behind him, the rest of the Viraxian fleet waited in silence. No one else dared return to the planet. But Threx was different. He had to know what Earth really was. Was it a trap? A weapon? A grave? Or something worse? The ship entered Earth's atmosphere. Smooth. Quiet. No resistance. No missiles. No reaction. But that was the problem. It was too quiet. The city below looked normal. Tall buildings, roads, lights. But there were no sounds. No cars. No people. No birds. Threx landed in the center of the city. His boots hit the ground with a dull thud. The air was clean. Fresh. But still empty. He walked down a wide street. Shattered glass crunched under his feet. The wind blew papers into the sky. He passed shops filled with clothes, restaurants with half-eaten meals still on tables, playgrounds with toys left behind. As if everyone had vanished in 1 second. His helmet scanner peeped. Life signs detected. Threx turned fast. A shadow moved at the edge of a building. He ran. Show yourself, he shouted. Nothing. Just silence. Then he saw her, a human girl, maybe 10 years old, standing in the middle of the street. She wore a red jacket. Her hair was messy. Her eyes were wide. But she didn't look scared. She looked sad. Threx raised his weapon. Are you real? She didn't answer. She pointed behind him. Threx turned. A statue stood there, made of black stone. A Viraxian soldier, frozen in fear. It looked alive. Threx stepped closer. He saw his own name carved into the base. Commander Threx, destroyer of Galna, claimed by Earth. His hand shook. He turned back to the girl. She was gone. His radio crackled. A voice whispered through static. You don't belong here. He spun in a circle. Who's speaking? The voice came again. You came for war. But Earth remembers. The void was coming. Dark clouds swallowed the stars. The Alliance fleet gathered near Earth's orbit. Ships from many worlds stood side by side. Commander Threx looked at the massive fleet. Humans and Varaxians fought together now. The old hatred was gone. They shared one goal: survival. Mara stood beside him. Her eyes held hope and fear. "This will be our hardest fight," she said. The Void's forces appeared like shadows. Black ships moved silently. They struck without warning. The battle began. Lasers cut through space. Explosions lit the darkness. The Alliance ships fought bravely. But the Void was strong. It seemed endless. Threx led a small strike team. Their mission: reach the Void's core ship. Inside the core, the air was cold. The walls pulsed with dark energy. They found the source of the Void's power, an ancient artifact. It was alive. It fed on fear and hate. Threx touched the artifact. Pain shot through him. Visions flashed. The artifact showed Earth's past. Humans had once fought with the Void, but a great protector saved them. The protector's power lived inside every human. Threx realized the truth. Humans were the key. He used his mind to reach inside the artifact. He sent hope, love, unity. The artifact screamed. It began to crack. Outside, the Alliance fleet pressed their attack. The Void's forces started to weaken. The artifact shattered. A bright light spread. The Void's ships exploded or flooded. The battle was over. The Alliance cheered. Earth was safe. Threx looked at Mara. "We did it." Mara smiled. "This is just the start." Earth was no longer a simple planet. It was a symbol, a beacon, a reminder that hope can defeat even the darkest fear. And now, the galaxy knew why every alien who attacked Earth disappeared. Because Earth's true power was not weapons. It was humanity itself. The end. The stars were quiet, cold, endless. A bright blue planet spun slowly in the dark, Earth. For millions of years, Earth had only known humans. Billions of them lived, loved, fought, and dreamed. They looked at the stars, searching for life. They sent signals into space, hoping someone would answer. Someone did. Far beyond the edge of the solar system, the Varaxian armada floated like a storm of metal and fire. Their ships were large, black, and deadly. Each one carried thousands of alien warriors. The Varaxians were not peaceful. They were conquerors. They had taken over 12 planets. They had turned 3 suns into fuel stations. They had never lost a war. Now they had found Earth. Inside the command ship, Supreme Commander Zorthel stared at a holographic image of the small blue world. "Primitive," he said. "Basic satellites. Weak weapons. No threat." An officer with silver skin and 4 glowing eyes nodded. "Shall I send a probe?" Zorthel shook his head. "No. Send one ship. Let them feel our arrival." The command room went quiet. Then the engines lit up. The scout ship Razor Claw flew toward Earth. It entered orbit easily. No resistance. No warning. Inside, commander trucks, tall, with 4 strong arms and dark gray skin, smiled. "These humans are soft," he said. "This will be easy." He sent a message to the Varaxian fleet. "We are landing now." On the screen, Earth's surface showed green forests, deep oceans, white clouds. Peaceful, silent. Trucks activated the landing gear. The ship dropped through the clouds. Suddenly, blackout. The ship's lights turned off. The engines failed. The crew screamed. The video feed sent back to Zorthel's command ship turned to static. "What happened?" Zorthel shouted. "Where is Razor Claw?" "Gone," the officer whispered. "No signal. No wreckage. Nothing." Zorthel narrowed his eyes. "Send another." The second ship, Silent Storm, arrived 20 hours later. They flew a different path, avoided Earth's gravity pull. They stayed high in orbit. They watched. Everything looked normal. Earth was spinning. Cities were shining with lights. But then the lights blinked off. Not one city. All cities. Darkness spread across the surface. Commander Elrath, a cold and careful warrior, frowned. They saw us. He ordered the ship to turn back. But before they could, a strange energy pulse hit them. Bright red, silent, smooth like water. Every screen went black. The last thing Zorthel saw from the ship's feed was Elrath's face. His mouth opened. His eyes glowed red. Then, static. Now the Varaxian fleet was quiet. 2 ships. Gone. No noise. No pieces. No answers. Zorthel stood at the window, looking at the far-off Earth. It looked calm. Too calm. He tapped his clawed fingers on the table. This planet is hiding something. Back in deep space, at the edge of the fleet, a third ship, the Watcher, had recorded both disappearances. Inside Watcher, a young Varaxian data tech named Kohler played back the last signal. He slowed the video, paused, zoomed in. In the final frame of static, a shape appeared. A face. Not human. Not alien. Something different. It had glowing white eyes. No mouth. No skin. Only light. And just before the image faded, it moved. It looked at him. Kohler gasped and shut the video. His heart raced. He ran to the higher officers. "Commander, you must see this." But no one listened. They were too focused on preparing another mission. Kohler whispered, "We should not go to Earth." Back on the command ship, Zorthel made his choice. 5 ships, he ordered. A light fleet, stealth class. They will not attack, only watch. Record. Return. They will not fail. The officers nodded. They didn't speak their fear. But every Varaxian in that room felt it. Something was wrong with Earth. The elite fleet left 2 days later. 5 black ships, invisible to radar. Silent like shadows. Armed with everything the Varaxians had: EMP shields, AI blockers, memory-proof tech. They flew fast. They entered Earth's orbit. They stayed high, watched from above. Commander Virax, leading the mission, reported, "No threat seen. Earth seems normal." But then one ship sent a strange message. It wasn't words. It was music. Old music. A human song from Earth's past. One of the pilots started humming it without knowing why. He didn't know the language. He had never heard music before. Then his ship vanished. No explosion. No warning. Just silence. On the command ship, Kohler looked at the data. He found something strange. Every time a Varaxian ship got close to Earth, a strange signal appeared. Not from Earth. From under Earth. Something deep inside the planet. Alive. Watching. Learning. Kohler ran to Zorthel again. "Sir, Earth is not weak. Earth is awake." Zorthel growled, "Nonsense." Kohler showed the data. The same pattern in every ship before it vanished. Commander Threx sat alone in his ship's small briefing room. The stars outside were cold and distant. Inside, his mind burned. The fleet was breaking apart. Zorthel wanted war. Kohler whispered of betrayal. The planet below was a living weapon. And the Varaxians faced a choice. Threx tapped a small screen. A message blinked. "Request permission to form peace team." He sent it. Minutes later, the response came. "Approved, but proceed with caution." Threx stood and stretched. He needed allies. He needed humans. The humans who had uploaded their minds into Earth's body were mysterious. But a small group remained hidden, alive. They called themselves the Guardians. They were real humans, hidden in secret bunkers beneath the surface. Threx's mission was clear. Find the Guardians. Make peace. His ship landed near a dense forest. The trees were tall and ancient. He stepped outside. The air smelled of earth and rain. He followed a path. A soft light glowed ahead. At the clearing stood a woman. She looked human. Her eyes were sharp and kind. She wore simple clothes. Her voice was calm. "I am Mara. Welcome, Commander Threx." Threx bowed his head. "Thank you. I come to talk." Mara nodded. "You are brave to come alone. Not all Varaxians want war." She led him underground. A tunnel opened into a vast chamber. Walls lined with screens showed Earth from space. Data flowed like water. "Here are the Guardians," Mara said. "Humans who survived, who remember." Threx saw faces on the screens. Men and women, young and old, all determined. "We know about your fleet," Mara said. "We know what you plan. But Earth wants peace." Threx asked, "Why attack then?" Mara's eyes grew sad. "Because of fear, because of history." She showed him ancient records, Varaxians attacking worlds, destroying homes, humans fighting back, but never destroying. "We wanted to protect," Mara said. "But war only made things worse." Threx felt shame. He remembered the statues, frozen Varaxian warriors. He whispered, "I don't want more death." Mara smiled softly. "There is a way. We can stop this. But we need help." Threx nodded. "Tell me." Mara explained an ancient device, hidden deep below Earth's core, a machine that could control the planetary mind. If they could connect to it, they might stop Earth's defense. But it was dangerous. The machine was old and unstable. "If it fails," Mara said, "Earth could destroy itself." Threx clenched his fists. "Then we must succeed." Together, they prepared a team. Humans and Varaxians, a group small enough to move unseen. As they descended into Earth's depths, the planet pulsed around them. The walls hummed. The air grew heavy. At last, they'd reached the machine. It looked like a giant crystal, glowing with blue light. Mara stepped forward. "Help me activate it." Threx placed his hand on the crystal. Energy flowed through him. Visions flashed. Pain, hope, love. The machine awoke. A voice echoed in their minds. "Who dares disturb the memory of Earth?" Threx spoke. "We come in peace, to stop the war." The voice hesitated. "Peace must be earned." Suddenly, alarms blared. Outside, the ground shook. Something was coming. The team rushed back. They emerged to see Varaxian ships attacking the surface. Zorthel had sent troops to finish the job. The Guardians and Threx's team fought back. Explosions lit the night. Threx saw Zorthel leading the charge, his face hard as steel. "Threx," Zorthel yelled, "you betray your race." "I save both," Threx replied, "or we all die." The battle was fierce, but the team managed to activate the machine fully. A wave of blue light spread over Earth. The planet calmed. The weapons stopped. The invading ships froze. Zorthel's fleet retreated. The warning was clear. Earth would not be conquered. Threx and Mara stood together. They looked up at the stars. "Maybe," Mara said softly, "this is a new beginning." The blue light from the ancient machine still glowed softly across Earth's surface. Commander Threx stood beside Mara, looking at the stars. The war was paused, but peace was fragile. The Varaxian fleet hovered at a distance, silent and watchful. Zorthel's anger burned like fire, but even he had to respect Earth's power now. Inside the command ship, Zorthel paced. "Peace." He spat. "Humans and Varaxians working together. No, this is weakness." But others saw a different path. Kohler, once loyal to Zorthel, now spoke quietly to trusted commanders. "We can learn from them. Together, we can be stronger." Threx and Mara worked fast. They sent messages to the Guardians and to the Varaxian fleet. They arranged a secret meeting. The chosen place was a ruined space station orbiting Mars. Half destroyed by ancient battles, it was the perfect neutral ground. Humans and Varaxians arrived in small groups. Tension filled the air. No one trusted easily. Threx opened the meeting. "We come with one goal: to survive, to stop this endless war." Mara added, "Earth taught us that fighting only destroys. Together, we must build a future." Zorthil appeared last. His face was hard, his voice cold. "This alliance is fragile, but I will watch." The talks began. They shared stories. They shared fears. They shared hopes. For the first time, humans and Varaxians saw each other as more than enemies. But peace was not easy. Old wounds ran deep. Some Varaxians demanded revenge. Some humans feared betrayal. Suddenly, alarms rang through the station. An attack. Sensors showed a fleet approaching fast. Not Varaxian. Not human. The station shook. Explosions rocked the halls. Threx led the defense. Mara coordinated the humans. The attackers were unknown. Strange ships with sharp edges and glowing weapons. They'd wanted to destroy the Alliance. Fighting side by side, humans and Varaxians pushed back the attackers. During the battle, Threx saved a human child trapped in the rubble. The child looked at him with wide eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. The attackers retreated. But the threat was clear. The galaxy was bigger and more dangerous than anyone thought. Zorthil finally spoke. "We must unite, or be destroyed." The Silent Alliance was born. Threx and Mara looked at the stars again. "This is only the beginning," Mara said. "To be continued in Part 7, The Dark Truth." The new alliance uncovers secrets about Earth's past and the real enemy waiting in the shadows. Tell me when you want Part 7. You said 7. ChatGPT said, "Here is Part 7 of your HFY Sci-Fi story in simple, basic English, third-person style, around 1,400 words with strong suspense and emotion." Part 7. The Dark Truth. From the story, every alien who attacks Earth disappears. Now they finally know why. The Silent Alliance had only just begun, but already shadows grew long. Commander Threx stood in the control room of the space station orbiting Mars. Screens flickered with strange readings. Mara stood beside him, her face serious. "We are receiving strange signals," she said. "They come from deep space, beyond our known maps." Threx frowned. Could it be another enemy? Mara nodded. Or something worse. The Alliance Council gathered. Zorthil sat quietly, watching. A young human scientist spoke. "These signals match ancient legends from Earth. Stories about the void." Threx asked, "What is the void?" The scientist's eyes were wide. "The void is an ancient force, a darkness that consumes stars and worlds." The Alliance grew tense. Zorthil clenched his fists. "We must prepare to fight." But Mara shook her head. "Fighting blindly will only bring destruction. We need to understand the void." Threx and Mara led an expedition into deep space. They followed the signals to a dark nebula. Inside the nebula, the stars were swallowed by black clouds. Their ship's sensors barely worked. Suddenly, a massive ship appeared. It was old, ruined, but powerful. Inside the ship, they found signs of a lost civilization. Walls covered with strange symbols. Mara studied the symbols. They tell of a war. Between the void and a great protector. Threx touched a device glowing faintly. Images flashed in his mind. Memories not his own. He saw Earth, but different. A planet locked in battle. The protector was a being of light. It had saved Earth once, but it was gone now. The void was returning. Threx and Mara returned to the Alliance. They warned everyone. The void is real, and it's coming for all of us. Zorthel stood tall. This changes everything. We must unite fully. No more divisions. The Alliance prepared for war, but hope still burned bright. Phrex looked at Mara. We fight not just for Earth, but for all life. Zorthel stared at the screen. What does it mean? Calder's voice shook. It means Earth is not just a planet. Zorthel stepped back. Then what is it? Calder looked up. He said one word. A trap. Later that night, a small black box floated into space. It had no engines, no signal. It drifted slowly toward the Viraxian fleet. A patrol ship found it, brought it in. Zorthel opened it. Inside was a message recorder. He pressed play. A human voice spoke. Calm, cold, certain. You were warned. Then the voice changed. Not human anymore. Deeper. Every word echoed in Zorthel's mind like thunder. This world is protected. You came to take. Now you will give. Earth is not yours. Leave or vanish. Zorthel's claws trembled. He dropped the recorder. For the first time in many years, he felt fear. The 5 Viraxian stealth ships flew through space like shadows, silent, invisible, deadly. Each one carried 20 of the best soldiers in the Empire, trained in zero-gravity combat, equipped with mural shields, eyes enhanced with night vision and fear blockers. Supreme Commander Zorthel watched them on the holographic screen. No mistakes, he warned. You do not land. You observe, record everything, and return. Commander Virax, leader of the mission, nodded. His voice was sharp. Understood. The fleet reached Earth orbit in 2 hours. No defenses. No reaction. It felt wrong. Inside the Lid stealth ship, Commander Virax scanned the planet. Choose 5 different locations, he ordered. Desert, city, ocean, ice, forest. Each team will land, record, then return to orbit. His second-in-command, Selma, frowned. We've lost 7 ships already. What if this is a trap? Virax's voice was cold. Then we die knowing the truth. Selma's ship headed to the forest zone. It was early morning on Earth. Thick trees covered the land. Fog floated like ghosts. No animals. No wind. Too quiet. They landed softly near a ruined road. Strange metal poles stood in the ground, bent and rusted. Signs with human writing were covered in moss. Selma stepped outside, holding her plasma blade. The trees were tall, too tall. Their bark was black. Leaves moved, but there was no wind. Scan everything, Selma ordered. The tech officer, Brack, held up the scanner. Air is clean. No radiation. No life signs. Then, snap, a branch broke behind them. All 5 soldiers turned, weapons ready. Nothing. Only trees. But the fog was closer. Back in orbit, Virax listened to their audio feed. It was full of static. Then came voices, whispering. Not human, not Viraxian. Something. Ancient. He called out, Selma, respond. No answer. He tried again. Louder. Selma, report. Still nothing. Then the screen flashed. He saw Selma's helmet cam. Shaking. Running. Heavy breathing. Retreat, she shouted. The tree's air. The feed cut off. On the forest floor, the fog became thick like milk. Selma turned to run. Her foot sank into the ground. She looked down. The soil was moving. Hands, made of roots, wrapped around her legs. She screamed. Another soldier fired his weapon at the trees. The laser bounced back. The forest was alive. One by one, the soldiers vanished into the ground. The trees grew taller, stronger. The forest had fed. Virax cursed. Abort forest mission. No rescue. Next location. The ship near the desert sent a report. Commander Renth and his team had landed near an old human city buried in sand. "Looks like this area has been dead for years," he said. "Crumbling buildings, rusted cars, shattered glass." But the weird thing was the statues. Dozens of them. Tall, detailed, not human, alien, all made of black stone. Renth walked closer. He touched one. It looked like a Varaxian. "Same armor, same face. Impossible," he whispered. "This one looks like me." Suddenly, the ground shook. The sand melted. The statues opened their eyes. Virax heard Renth scream, then silence. That team was gone too. The ocean team never reported. Only one image was sent, a giant shadow moving under the waves. No size, no shape, just eyes, glowing red. Then the water turned black. No feed after that. The ice team crashed before they landed. The ship's black box recorded their last seconds. They were flying above white land. Then a storm came from nowhere. The Varaxian fleet was silent. Commander Threx had just returned with news that shattered everything. Earth was no longer a simple planet. It was alive. A weapon, a graveyard, and a warning. Supreme Commander Zorthal paced in his command room. His gray face was tight with anger and fear. How do we fight a planet that fights back? He slammed his fist on the table. Send messages to the Council. We need help. His second-in-command, Kohler, shook his head. Help won't come. Other species are afraid. They have heard the stories. Zorthal turned sharply. We are the strongest, the most powerful. We do not run. But deep inside the fleet, fear was growing. Whispers spread between soldiers. Some believed the stories. Others refused to. They wanted revenge. They wanted to show Earth who ruled the stars. Meanwhile, on Earth, something strange happened. The humans, the ones who had become the planet's mind, sent a signal that only the Varaxians could hear. It was a warning. Commander Threx was alone in his quarters when the signal came. A low hum filled the room. His console flashed. A message in old Varaxian code appeared. Leave now, or suffer the same fate as others. Threx frowned. Is this a threat or a plea? He played the message again. This time, a face appeared on the screen. Not human, not Varaxian, something in between. It spoke in perfect Varaxian. I am Echo. I am the voice of Earth's memory. You have two choices. Leave or fight. Threx leaned forward. Why show yourself now? Echo's face twisted. Because we want peace. Because we want you to understand. But if you choose war, Earth will not stop. The fleet gathered to hear the message. Some laughed. Some shouted. Others whispered prayers. Zorthal's eyes burned. This is weakness. Earth is a prize to be taken. Threx stepped forward. We have seen the truth. Earth is not empty. It is alive. We can't fight a planet that thinks. Zorthal glared. You think like a weakling. We will strike. The preparations began. Ships loaded weapons. Soldiers practiced drills. The fleet moved closer to Earth's orbit. But Echo was watching. And Earth was ready. On the surface, cities glowed with blue light. Plants grew faster. Animals appeared, but only as shadows. The planet hummed with power. A living machine. Then the warning came again. A shock wave hit the fleet. Ships shook. Systems failed. One ship exploded. Zorthal shouted orders. Counterattack. Full power. But every shot bounced off invisible shields. The fleet was trapped. The fleet's air reported. Shields generated by planetary mind. Enemy tactics unknown. Kohler looked at Zorthal. We must retreat. Zorthal refused. We fight or die. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the command ship. Zorthal was thrown to the floor. Smoke filled the room. Threx rushed to help. "Commander, what happened?" Zorthel coughed. "Sabotage." Calder's face turned pale. "Inside traitor." The fleet was in chaos. Voices shouted betrayal. Some soldiers refused to fight. Others prepared to mutiny. Threx realized the war was not just against Earth. It was inside their own ranks. Echo's voice came again, calm but cold. "Stop this madness. Choose peace, or be lost forever." Threx looked out at the stars. He knew what he must do.